Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Her eyes meeting yours across the room, and in that instant, the world quiets. She's younger, maybe by a decade or two, and yet, something in the way she looks at you feels ancient, like she's known you forever. But here's the truth, most people won't tell you. Age gap. Love doesn't just challenge the rules, it exposes them. The way people look, whisper, or judge. It's not about you two, it's about their own fear. Fear that real connection, real understanding can't be measured in years. See, society trains us to color inside the lines, to believe that love must fit into neat little boxes. Same age, same stage, same story. But when you meet someone who makes time stop, those rules crumble. Because it's not your birth year that connects you. It's the energy, the unspoken understanding, the way your presence calms her restlessness, and the way her curiosity revives something in you that life had dulled. She doesn't just look at you like a man, she looks at you like a map of experience, and suddenly she wants to explore. But that beauty comes with a cost. The world won't celebrate your connection, it'll question it. Is he taking advantage? Is she using him? And those voices will try to plant doubt where love once grew. But here's the secret. You'll know it's real when you both stop fighting to prove it. When the silence between you feels safer than the approval of the crowd. There's a reason she's drawn to you. It's not your age, your stability, or your calmness alone. It's your depth. Younger women who feel lost in a world obsessed with surface-level attention find refuge in a man who listens before he speaks, who looks past beauty and sees potential. That's what no one tells you. The age gap isn't about control, it's about balance. One brings fire, the other grounding. One sees what could be, the other what lasts. But here's the question. The one that changes everything. Can you love her without trying to fix her? Because the moment you do, she'll see you not as a mentor or protector, but as her equal. And that's when the real story begins. They'll tell you it's impossible, that it won't last, that she'll wake up one day, see your grey hair, and walk away. But what they'll never understand is that love born from authenticity doesn't fade. It deepens. She didn't fall for your youth. She fell for your certainty. The calm way you move through chaos, the quiet strength in your presence, the way you make her feel safe in a world that constantly makes her prove herself. You see, younger women who connect with older men aren't chasing status, they're chasing peace. And that's something only a man who's been broken, rebuilt, and finally learned himself can give. You've lived long enough to know that beauty is temporary, but presence leaves fingerprints on the soul. She doesn't want to be rescued. She wants to be seen. And you, without realizing it, saw her before anyone else did. That's why she stays. But don't let that romantic glow fool you. An age gap relationship isn't for the faint-hearted. It's not about power. It's about polarity. She will challenge you in ways no woman your age ever could. She'll make you question your habits, your expectations, your patience. She'll teach you that passion isn't about youth. It's about energy, and in return, you'll teach her the stillness that comes after the storm, the wisdom that quiets the noise of her uncertainty. The danger lies in what the world tries to project onto you both. Every glance, every whisper, every subtle judgment will try to turn your connection into a stereotype. But if you're strong enough, if you both build something rooted in truth, those opinions will only make your bond stronger. Because real love, the kind that bends rules and breaks patterns, always comes with a price. And only the brave are willing to pay it. She's not with you for what you have. She's with you for what you understand. She doesn't need another boy pretending to be a man. She needs the man who's lived, lost, learned, and still believes in connection. That's what draws her near. Not your money, not your age, not your charm, but your emotional depth, the rarest thing in a world that glorifies the shallow. And maybe, just maybe, she's the one who reminds you that you're still alive. There's a quiet moment that every man in an age gap relationship knows. It's when she looks at you, her eyes full of questions she doesn't know how to ask, and for a second, you see the gap, not in years, but in experience. You realize she's lived less, felt less, and yet she feels everything more intensely. Her emotions burn where yours simmer. Her world moves fast where yours has slowed. And that difference, it's both beautiful and dangerous. You become her anchor, But here's what no one warns you about. Anchors can drown too. The more she leans on your strength, the more you risk losing your own balance. She'll test you, not out of rebellion, but out of curiosity. She'll push your patience, not to hurt you, but to understand the edges of your calm. Because to her, your composure is mysterious, almost magnetic. She's drawn to the way you handle pressure, to the way you never need to prove your worth. But she doesn't realize that inside, you're fighting your own battles, the fear of time, of judgment, of being misunderstood. You'll catch yourself wondering, why me? And the truth is, it's because you represent something she's never had. Stability with passion. You know how rare that is, to be calm and wild at once, to be protective without being possessive. That's why she can't walk away, and yet that's also what makes this love fragile. If either of you stop growing, if she stops listening, if you stop evolving, the connection turns from chemistry into comfort. And comfort, in love, can be poison. So don't mistake her admiration for dependence. Don't let her see you as a savior. Because the moment she does, the romance begins to die. You must let her stumble, make her own mistakes, find her own voice. That's the only way she'll ever look at you, not as the older man who guided her, but as the partner who walked beside her. And when that day comes, when she stops needing your approval and starts choosing you with her own wisdom, you'll know this wasn't just attraction, it was transformation. Two souls from different timelines, meeting in the middle, rewriting what love is supposed to look like. Tell me, do you believe love can truly exist outside the boundaries of age? Or does time always win? There's a strange shift that happens once the world starts noticing you two. The stares last a little longer, the comments get a little sharper. She's too young. He's too old. It's not real. You hear it, she feels it, and suddenly, something pure begins to feel like rebellion. But that's where the truth begins to reveal itself. Because real connection doesn't need permission, it only needs courage. And courage is exactly what this kind of love demands. You see, people project their insecurities onto what they don't understand. A woman her age is expected to chase men who mirror her generation, men who text more than they talk, who confuse attention with affection. But when she meets you, something shifts. You don't play games, you don't chase, you invite. You don't need to be loud to be noticed, because presence doesn't shout, it resonates. And that difference terrifies people. They call it manipulation or control, but it's simply maturity meeting curiosity. But here's the shadow no one talks about. Sometimes you'll doubt yourself too. You'll look at her youth and wonder if you're holding her back. You'll question whether the love you give today can survive the years that follow. And in those moments, fear will whisper, what if she leaves when she learns everything I know? Yet that's exactly why your love matters, because you don't love her to keep her. You love her to free her, to help her grow wings she didn't know she had. If you can love her without possession, if you can let her become her fullest self, even when it means she might outgrow you, that's not weakness. That's the highest form of love, the kind few men ever reach. Remember this, she doesn't want your perfection. She wants your honesty, the cracks in your armor, the mistakes you've made, the regrets you still carry. That's where your depth lives. That's what she trusts. So stop hiding your scars, because that's what makes you human to her. If love is to last, it must evolve. It must move from attraction to admiration, from chemistry to connection, from control to understanding. The question isn't whether you can handle her youth. It's whether you can handle the mirror she holds up to your soul. So tell me, would you still choose her if loving her meant breaking every rule you were taught about love? There's a night that comes in every age gap relationship. The one where you lie awake beside her, the room silent except for her breathing, and you realize how fragile this whole thing is. You start counting the years like shadows on the wall. You think of all the things she hasn't seen yet, all the dreams still waiting for her, and deep inside, you wonder if someday you'll be part of her memory or her lesson. That's when reality hits. The truth that love, no matter how deep, is never guaranteed. But what makes this love extraordinary isn't its permanence, it's its honesty. She's not with you because of what you can give. She's with you because of how you make her feel. You awaken something she thought didn't exist anymore. A man who listens without judgment, who speaks with conviction, who carries his wounds with dignity instead of shame. You show her that masculinity isn't dominance, it's direction. It's knowing who you are without needing validation. And that, my friend, is intoxicating to a woman who's tired of boys pretending to be men. Yet here's the paradox. You can't cling to her as your second youth, because if you do, she'll sense it and she'll run. You're not meant to reclaim your past through her. You're meant to create a present worth staying in. The more you try to be younger, the less she'll respect you. She chose you for your depth, not your denial of age. So own it. Be the man who wears time like armor, not like a burden. Every woman tests a man's strength differently. Younger women test it through emotion, through spontaneity, through curiosity. But the real test is whether you can lead without control, love without fear, and guide without ego. Because if you can, you'll not only keep her attention, you'll earn her trust. And here's the hardest part. You must be willing to lose her to prove you love her. Because only when you let love breathe does it grow wings. And only then does she realize she never wanted a father figure. She wanted a man brave enough to let her fly and wise enough to never clip her wings. So I'll ask you this. Could you still love her fully, even if someday her path no longer leads back to you? There will come a time when the world goes quiet again. The noise fades, the opinions disappear, and it's just you and her, two souls who dared to love beyond the rules. You'll look at her, not as the girl who made you feel young again, but as the woman who made you remember what living feels like. And she'll look at you, not as the man who had it all figured out, but as the one who taught her what real strength and gentleness look like when they coexist. That's the secret people miss. Age gap love isn't about youth or wisdom, it's about awakening. You awaken her curiosity. She awakens your courage. You remind her that not every man is careless, and she reminds you that not every day has to be predictable. Together, you redefine what connection means. You stop being older and younger and start being two people brave enough to see each other completely. But make no mistake, it will never be easy. The same world that applauds freedom will still judge your choices. They'll never understand how love like this survives in the cracks between generations. And that's fine, because this kind of love doesn't need an audience. It only needs truth. The kind of truth you find when you drop your pride, silence your doubts, and choose presence over perfection. You see, love like this isn't meant to be explained. It's meant to be felt. The late-night talks, the laughter that heals, the vulnerability that strips away years of armor. That's the kind of intimacy that changes a man. Not the physical, but the emotional. She'll teach you that love isn't something to control. It's something to experience. And maybe one day you'll both go separate ways. Maybe not. But either way, the impact remains. Because once you've known a connection that raw, that real, you can never go back to surface-level love. You'll crave depth forever. So ask yourself, are you brave enough to love someone not because it makes sense, but because it makes you more human? If you felt this, tell me in the comments. Do you believe age gap love can truly last? Or is it destined to fade? I want to hear your truth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who needs to hear it today. Dr. Rebecca, psychologist, relationship coach. Subscribe or the Master Stoic Z4X for more insights. Your thoughts matter. Share them honestly in the comments below.